Blue Line. So if you're interested in incubation from idea to funding, in corporate innovation, entrepreneurship, multi-stakeholder approaches, a bit of everything, because that's what we're doing here at Blue Line. I'm looking forward to share our insights and also learn from all of you. Thank you.
Hi guys, Katka again from Kickstart. I'm here for 7 years because I love ASEAN and I live there. So I was in Singapore and Kuala Lumpur, but as I was mentioning to your colleagues over the lunch, I was also in many ASEAN countries. I actually built 4 startups there. And in current job, I'm the co-founder of Kickstart. We connect startups and investors and public and private institutions to build POCs and commercial projects. Some of them are quite large. And personally, I started 4 startups with 2 exits, and so this is why I also love to give back, because in the role more of the investor. And the topics endless. So as an entrepreneur, it goes from finances to fundraising to strategy, business development, and also specialize in fuck-ups. So if you go through any of them right now, come to me. Thank you.
So I do represent EPFL. Things that we could talk about is we have our specialty, or our focus is on how do we bridge actually all the money that we put in research, in disruptive research, really early stage, that becomes something for society. So we have the challenge that we have companies coming, we would like to find solutions, and we have research which is far away from being implemented in society, and we exist actually to bridge that. So the ways we do that is through NGOs, through startup creation, through welcoming corporates to establish in our campus. So if you want to talk about how do we actually generate startups from students, how do we generate startups from research or from professors, and how do we actually try to convince corporates that we can actually help them, that's maybe what we could talk about. Thank you.
What he said. But from the University of Basel. And we've been doing it slightly less time than the EPFL. And I specifically do 2 programs, which one is around antibiotics, which is called INCATE, and we're a European-wide and global program looking to help new antibiotics and diagnostics to fight antimicrobial resistance reach the market. And that's, if you're interested in sort of European partnerships, antibiotics, therapeutics, that could be something. The other program I have is part of the Leading House Africa, where we're connecting Swiss and African startups, particularly around the topic of healthcare, but also going beyond that. If any of those things are of interest, or what Ferran said, then
Hi everybody. So I work for Algeria Foundation since 2017, where I started from scratch Whole Brain, this acceleration program for early stage startups. So during 3 months we have the startups, but in the rest of the years we have the startups growing. So they have the idea and then they come to us, and then we give them the toolkit to grow. Why I'm working for Algeria? Because I had a company, so I know how it does feel being on the other side as a company. But I had also a startup. So I also know a little bit better what's the difference between a company and a startup in the beginning. So if you have question about this, so come to me.
Yeah, so at TrustSquare we basically focus on helping entrepreneurs basically run their ventures. This is coming together all from the experience from basically how not to do it on the one side with some spectacular failures. If you want to hear about them, you're right at my spot. And also on the other side, there were also some accidental exits. So overall, from basically how to start small, and especially in the B2B and B2B2C market is where my expertise is.
So yes, I'm from Better House Berlin. So Better House is a co-working. It was one of the first co-working in Europe, like started almost 13 years ago. So which means nobody knew what was co-working. So if you want to know how to build an ecosystem from scratch, this is quite interesting. and I'm myself managing the innovation agency of Better House called Better House X, which is, I would say, the natural spin-off of Better House, because due to the high demand of building accelerator, hackathon, etc., we built this agency, which now since 8 years is enabling corporates to build their own accelerator, and also doing hackathon, doing startup immersion program, innovation, leaderships, and right now also we now are into the metaverse, so we are doing high-tech events like this one, but into the metaverse. That's the next things we are doing right now. So if you want to build, to speak about ecosystem building and thriving and how to connect the dots between different spaces, then we work also a lot with the Asian government, Korean and Japanese, and also with Chilean. So we work with public institutions, corporates, and